G'day. Today, let's have a look at the Sony A6700 versus the new Fujifilm X100VI. What's it going to be? Is it going to be the workhorse that has no soul, or is it going to be the influencer fashion accessory? Let's find out. Righto. I'm not going to get too deep into the specs on both these cameras. There's plenty of videos and information online already, but what I am going to break down is I've set them up so they're quite similar, as in we know the Fujifilm has a fixed lens which is approximately 35mm full frame, and I've paired that with my 20mm on the Sony, which full frame is roughly about 30mm. I've set both the apertures to 2.8 and I've put the ISO on both of these to 125. I'm going to keep everything else in auto to keep it happy snap friendly, and we're just going to see what the JPEGs straight out of the cameras look like. No editing, and yeah, we'll see how we go. Well, we all know, according to all the YouTube videos, that the X100VI is definitely the camera to use when it comes to street photography. I haven't really shot much street photography. I don't mind street photography, it's just that out here in the country, street photography isn't really there. So, enjoy the drive with me as I cruise around the raving metropolis of Chinchilla and see what opportunities arise on this nice rainy day. While I've pulled over, I'll go through some of the accessories that I have attached onto this thing. I've got the Nissi hood lens and the UV filter. That actually came free with the pre-order through George's Cameras here in Australia, so kudos to you guys, it finally turned up. The old eBay special thumb grip, it does actually make a difference considering that the grip for this camera, yeah, it's definitely not as grippable as the Sony. Oh, and I've also got the soft shutter button, another eBay special, like $3. Now, as I mentioned, both these lots of photos from the Sony and the Fujifilm are going to be both just in their standard forms, the JPEGs RAW, and I think for the Fujifilm it's just the standard film simulation. Speaking of film simulations, well, we're not really going to touch base on that in this video. However, I am impressed with what they say about the Fujifilm simulations. You know, I got into photography back in the day, shooting film, and I'm a sucker for Kodak Ultramax. If those of you who don't already know, and I've seen on some of my posts on social media, the reason why I seem to like that film stock when there are plenty of other nicer looking films is it just brings me back to a time in my childhood when every photo was taken with a shitty little disposable camera or a point and shoot, and over-the-counter film was Kodak Ultramax. It was the cheapest, the easiest, and yeah, that's just the look that I like. Define typical. We haven't had any rain out here for months. On the day after I give this car a clean, the arse falls out of the sky. Henceforth, this car shall now be known as the drought breaker. unreal. Going past the big watermelon, we'll stop here and grab a couple of photos. Now, an advantage that I like of the Sony is obviously the fact that it is an interchangeable lens system. The lens that's on here, obviously not my best lens, but it's the 20mm specifically made for the crop sensor. It's an old lens. It's probably been around for over 10 years now. I think 2013 this lens first came about the scene. So pound for pound, the Fujifilm does destroy this lens in regards to clarity. But again, this is to compare two cameras that I've got close to the same size and focal length, etc. Alright, we're just about at the Chinchilla Weir, so we'll stop in there, have a bit of a snoop around and take a few photos. So why did I buy this camera? Maybe I did listen to a bit of the hype and I wanted to see what it was all about. But also part of me just wanted to get back to what started it all. I got back into film photography about a year ago, but at this current rate, the price of film is just too expensive. So I thought about it. At the time, I considered the X100VI. However, we all know what happened there. So, as luck had it, this thing was to be announced, or rumored to announce. I jumped straight on when it was released, and I managed to be one of the first few to get it. So, do I like it? Yeah, I do. I actually enjoy it. I'm picking this up more than I'm picking up the Sony. I have nothing against my Sonys. I've got that 6700 and I use an A7 IV, both for a bit of fun and professionally. But I do find that having this the X100VI, yeah, it's just bringing that little bit of fun back into photography, I guess. Another main reason as to why I chose this camera against, let's say, other competitors is because of the inbuilt flash. A lot of that seems to get overlooked in a lot of reviews and a lot of previews about this camera. But to me, that was a big part of what I enjoyed about photography back in the day, with the old film cameras, was, you're catching it on Ultramax with a shitty little flash, and part of that those captures is having an inbuilt flash. Having those Sonys is great, but the fact that you have to have an external flash that sticks way up over here, it just takes away from the fun, I guess. Well, I'll show you. I'll go grab one and I'll show what I mean. Alright, so here's the 6700, and here's the smallest external flash that I have, the Godox TT350. Don't get me wrong, it's a good little portable flash, but once you put it all together, it's not really discreet or, something you could take around for candid photos. You can, but it's definitely nothing as cool as this. So this isn't really an in-depth review. I can do something like that if you like down the track. It's just more of a pound for pound comparison. Again, I know there's going to be people out there that are going to, Sony sucks, it's got no soul, blah blah blah, and each to their own. I have no stance and I have no favoritism. I love all my children the same. But yeah, I do think that there is a different tool for every different kind of a job. Cattle crossing. I am in the country. And yeah, each camera has its pros and cons for different situations. This is just to show what those subtle differences are. What I might do, I might take a couple of these raw files at the end of the video and just do a couple of edits on the desktop, and just for a bit of fun, just to see what you can do with the big raw files. But as I said, all of these examples are just going to be JPEGs straight out of the camera. In conclusion, what can I really say about these two cameras? Well, for starters, they're both good. You'll be happy with either one of them. I don't really do much video work, so I can't have much of an opinion on that, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty of videos for either of these. Having said that, the Sony definitely is the workhorse of the two. I mean, the auto tracking does stick like shit to a blanket, there's no denying that, and it's relatively easy to use. Maybe it's because I'm new to the Fujifilm system, but I will agree with the hype train that having this camera, it does make me want to pick it up, point and shoot, and not do much photo editing afterwards. Look, at the end of the day, they're both great cameras. You'll be really splitting hairs when you want to find out what the differences are. I'm sure they're there, it's all subjective, but this video is just more of a guide and to let you know what they're both capable of. Anyway, enough from me. I'll see you next time.